Welcome into a brand new edition of the 06010 ESPN Communications Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Hughes, and we are joined by the one and only O'Shea Jackson Jr. O'Shea, this is a great time of year if you are a wrestling fan. WrestleMania right around the corner this weekend. Walk us through what should fans most be excited about the most this weekend?
I mean, the entire spectacle of everything. It's WrestleMania. WrestleMania for the WWE and wrestling as a whole is the Super Bowl. It is the Stanley Cup. It is Daytona. This
Right.
is where everybody puts it on the line. This is everyone's trying to steal the show. This is where stars are made. These are where legends are born. All the cliches that we already know. But as far as the performers, there is not a single one of them that doesn't want to be a part of this show. So once they are a part of the show, then the gears start going to how can I make my match unforgettable? And if you got everybody thinking that, you're in for, man, an amazing night. And that's the spectacle of WrestleMania. Everyone's going to have their biggest entrance. They're going to have they're plotting out their biggest spots and hopefully leave fans with a memory of their match. And that's the beauty.
We'll talk about the matches here in a second, but I do have to ask you, when did you become a wrestling fan?
Probably about 90, 96, 97. My older brother, Daryl, we played WWF Raw on the Sega Genesis. And, he was always Shawn Michaels. It's where I learned people like Razor Ramon, Doink the Clown, Bam Bam Bigelow, Taker. He would always make me be Taker because, nobody's stopping Taker. Give the little brother the unstoppable force.
Right.
And, one night he was like, these are real people. Like, we could watch this. And I'm like, we could watch the video game? And he's like, no, I'll show you. And so we finally watched it, live on TV. And from there, I'm a little kid. I have no concept of time. So I'm not watching every week, unless somebody puts it on. But then when I hit about, I'm going to say 99, 2000, so that's second, third grade, I'm locked in every week. And it was the best soap opera I could ask for.
Do you remember that moment that it was like, this is what I love to watch and want to follow for, pretty much my life?
I mean, it all circles around The Rock. The Rock I was a very shy kid when I was younger. I didn't really know, you're not looking for a voice at that age, but I just like to stay out the way. And The Rock taught me to always have something to say, to always be quick as a whip, not to let anybody back you into a corner with words. And better or for worse, I have taken that lesson aggressively. And it all circles to him. It always goes back to him. Even now, when in my late adult life, when I have found the same passion that I had as a little kid with wrestling again, that was all due to Roman Reigns. That run that he went on, I felt like I was on my grandmother's couch watching Raw and watching when SmackDown was on UPN. I felt that same energy. And of course, it's all part of the bloodline.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll get into Roman Reigns and CM Punk in just a little bit, but first, let's start with night one. The main event will be Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton on night one for WrestleMania. A lot of history between these two superstars. When you finally see Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton in today's day and age in the WWE for that undisputed WWE Championship, what do you think fans can expect from that match?
Well, number one, it's going to be, and this is a word that we seem to overuse a lot in wrestling nowadays, but it will be cinematic. There's such a major story to tell, both being generational talents, with rest in peace to Cody Rhodes' father, Dusty Rhodes, and Cowboy Bob Orton. I mean, WrestleMania 1 was Cowboy Bob Orton was the star of WrestleMania 1.
Right.
Like this is the type of full circle moment that we're talking about here. And both know that, both acknowledge that, and will play off of it. Randy is tapping into 2009 Randy Orton, which, if you don't know who that is one of the scariest things ever seen on television. I like to say that the best villains on film are Darth Vader, Heath Ledger's Joker, Cersei Lannister, and Randy Orton from 2009. Like, the dude was an animal, and he's tapping into some of those same things. And what you're watching from Randy Orton, he's such a professional. He is putting on a masterclass on what it is to be a heel in a storyline, and just really seeing, he's a little off. The thing is, Randy's so cool that it's hard to boo him right now. We love Randy, so it's tough to buy into that. But I think what we should expect, I expect a 50-50 crowd, which is, that's you don't run into that a lot unless you got two guys out there that have put in the work for everybody to love them. It's hard to boo Randy. And Cody's man. He's QB1, And he's got the next generation in his palm in the same light that Cena did. So I expect a 50-50 crowd. It should feel like you don't know which way it's going to go. In my mind, no way Cody loses 2 Manias in a row, right? But then, for Stephanie McMahon to come out to the ring and tell Cody, I don't know if you can get there. What does it mean for Cody as a man and as a character if he goes that dark? What does that mean moving forward? Can he go there? Is it smart to have him go there? There's a lot of things that go into it that make it a toss-up.
Right. And we'll get into this in a little bit, but obviously you host No Contest Wrestling alongside TJ Jefferson. There we go. That's right. And you will both be on ESPN2 Thursday and Friday starting at 2 o'clock, leading into WrestleMania weekend this coming week. So when you look at night one, obviously a lot of tremendous matches on night one, but let's switch gears and talk night two. And stacked card on night two but we have to talk the main event of night two first. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk, a main event in the making for so many years. I see your reaction. Obviously, if you are a diehard wrestling fan or even a casual wrestling fan, you know how big of a match this is going to be for so many people. Break it down for the folks that might not truly understand how big of a wrestling match this is for everyone involved with the WWE.
Oh my goodness. This is CM Punk, when he was at the height of his powers, was, as close to untouchable as somebody can be on the microphone with his skill set. He just was must-see TV. A lot of people don't know the behind-the-scenes work that dude was also putting in to introduce stars into positions. One of those situations was he brought in these 3 guys that were known as his enforcers, known as the Shield. Now, the Shield consisted of Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. So you have somebody who at one point was a lackey of CM Punk. That Roman Reigns would go on to become the tribal chief, head of the table, the face of the company, box office, blockbuster, whatever you want to give the moniker. He deserves it. This dude has wrestling in his blood. CM Punk does as well, but in a different way. Roman's family, part of the bloodline. Without the Samoan dynasty, wrestling would not be as big as it is. It just wouldn't. Without CM Punk, who knows what type of situation the WWE would have been, not only then, but now. For when he came back, it put such a such a battery in the back of everything at WWE. Anybody knew if they were going in the ring with Punk, they would have to be on their toes. And now you're putting these two to finally close out this circle at Mania, the biggest stage of them all, for a title. And for it to be the main event, night two's main event specifically. There was a whole thing during CM Punk's earlier days in WWE where even when he was champion, he wouldn't get the main event of WrestleMania. And that was a monkey on his back for a lot of years, over a decade. Now he's main event at night one last year. Now he gets the main event night two, which is putting a beautiful bow on his career. After this, everything is bliss.
Right.
But you got to get past Roman Reigns. And I don't know if you know this, Roman Reigns is kind of the man. He's kind of everything. And the battles that they've put on, microphone-wise, of any feud, have been what we talk about the next day. Everybody is doing their own thing, but we're looking at what Punk and Roman are doing back and forth at the water cooler or the schoolyard or whatever. That's what we're talking about. This is where it's the whole shebang-a-bang, you know? And honestly, Roman Reigns is my current favorite wrestler. CM Punk is actually my friend. So I hate this. This stinks. I don't know what to do. In my heart of hearts, unless Roman Reigns is about to sign up for a schedule that we are unaware of, I don't see how you can take the belt off Punk. But whenever I think I know what WWE is doing, they slap me in the face and tell me, just watch TV.
Well, O'Shea, can I push the limit on you a little bit? I know you said, obviously, Roman Reigns is your favorite WWE superstar and CM Punk is a dear friend of yours. I'm going to put you on the line right now. Will you make a prediction? Who do you have winning that match?
I mean, I just don't. My heart is telling me, never bet against the tribal chief. Mm-hmm. But my mind is telling me it doesn't make sense. If he's not going to be here on the schedule that everybody else is from now moving forward, there's no reason to take that belt off of Punk. Yeah. So, and if the heart ever had a good idea, it would be called the brain. So I got to go see a Punk.
Okay, makes total sense. I am curious. So, where did that friendship between you and Punk start? How did you two become friends?
Oh, we actually became friends in the worst place on earth, Twitter. Yeah. I forget what the conversation was, but I think he had mentioned something about my dad and how he had posted an album that he had liked. And, I said, what's up? We started chatting back and forth. This is before he was with WWE or AEW. He was just chilling, And so, we exchanged numbers. I was like, what do I call you? Do I call you Punk? He was like, no, you call me Phil. So I've been calling him Phil ever since. Funny story, he gets to WWE years later. And then at WrestlePalooza, I'm front row. And I'm talking to him while he's knocked out on the ground. Of course, you're not supposed to do that, but it's my buddy. I'm like, Phil, it's not looking good, but I still have faith. He looks up at me and goes, government names? I was like, you told me to call you Phil. And then I was like, he won, by the way.
That's awesome. He came back in it and obviously won.
He went to the premiere of God, this title is crazy. But he went to the premiere of Cocaine Bear. Solo dolo by himself, just showed up. And ever since then, I was like, oh, this dude's chill. And then, we chatted it up. It's been my boy ever since.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One of the matches I'm really looking forward to is Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. When you think of that match, what do you think those two competitors will bring for the fans, especially in the stadium that night?
It's so crazy to think of a champion as a underdog in a match. But it kind of feels that way. It kind of feels from everything that we've seen that Jade Cargill has this weird underdog feeling about her, and I think there's everyone in their mind thinks the Eradicator, Rhea Ripley, is going to come in and handle business like she usually does at WrestleMania. I got to look up her record, but it's got to be great. So it's those type of feelings that I want people who are just getting into wrestling and trying to find their footing on like how exactly to watch, because there is a way to watch. You gotta, whenever you kind of feel that everybody has the same mindset about something, you should probably steer away from that. You should probably like think like, oh my, there's a because it's so obvious, maybe it's not going to happen. What people need to realize as well, what does it mean for Jade Cargill to get that win? If Jade Cargill gets that win, it puts her automatic in the same league as Rhea, as Bianca, as all the top dogs. She has to be respected immediately. If Jade Cargill loses that title, especially now that you have two superstars as your backup, what does that say about Jade? What does that put her? What direction do you go after that? So there's a lot of things, not only in ring, that you have to think about as a fan when you're making these predictions. And it would not be good for Jade as a whole to lose this match. So I'm going against the grain, bro. I'm going Jade Cargill.
And now on the women's side, on the Monday Night Raw side, Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan. I know.
Oh my God. Bro, talk about, are you mad at me? Man, these two ladies, I hit slight flex. I had to hit Triple H, Paul Levesque after this last one where I don't know if you guys see in social media, but Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez had a lot on their mind after that Raw. A lot of big goose egg, on their foreheads. And I hit Triple H. And I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if these two ladies are like, this was like, hey, we gonna go for it, or they're sending each other receipts this entire time. But it's been some great television. His response was, yeah, they're beating the crap out of each other. Like, it just is what it is. If there was any match that you wanted to see some visceral activity, it is this one. Stephanie versus Liv that's where the popcorn is. Me as a fan, of course, excited for it. I am a huge Stephanie Vaquer fan. Liv Morgan's done the No Contest Wrestling podcast as well. I've always thought Liv was hilarious. The work that she's done with Judgment Day is like, it's her career masterpiece, And I start to wonder, are they setting me up for a Stephanie Vaquer loss? Because I look at things like the WrestleMania promo. When you look at that poker table, who's missing? The Raw Women's Champion, the World Heavyweight Champion, isn't even at the poker table. If I am promoting, I think both champions should at least be here. She's not even included. I think this is I think they're setting us up for a new version of Liv Morgan, a more violent version of Liv Morgan, because Stephanie is hitting a lot of buttons in the promos, talking about skill set and things like that, everything that she's accomplished in Mexico for her home country of Chile. And she's kind of pumping the Liv, you're not in my league a little bit. And so I think this is to set up a more visceral, more cerebral side of Liv Morgan that isn't all cackles and smiles. We're going to see something crazy from bell to bell.
Before we get into No Contest Wrestling, I do have to ask, just kind of your overall opinion of the WrestleMania card. We obviously talked to four World Championship matches. When you look at the holistic view of the card, what match besides the ones that we've already talked about jumps out to you most?
I mean, if you're not wondering what they're going to do with Obafemi and Brock Lesnar, you haven't been paying attention. Obafemi, who has the record for most guest appearances on the No Contest Wrestling podcast. That's
Really?
my boy. Yeah, bro. 4. He's been on my show 4 times, bro. Uh, but Oba, man, when we first started the pod, WWE might have been testing the waters a little bit with us on how we perform, rightfully so. Brand new pod. So we were kind of like the hub for NXT for a long time. And so they were just throwing us NXT stars. So Javon, Trick, Oba, those were our guys, and so to see them all three at Mania, all have matches, all looking to steal the show. But Oba and Brock, honestly, this has such a feel of a heavyweight fight. Also, so much behind it on how they handle it. With no title, that's how you know you got stars. If you can just throw them out there and it still has that weight and there's no gold around, that's star power. And I don't know if you know, but Obafemi got it. Obafemi has it. Not only here, international. Saudi Arabia was going nuts for Obafemi. Everybody knows the chant. Everyone knows the strut. And I've never seen a back and forth with somebody where a superstar won every single one before the match. And usually, you got, all right, Brock won this week. All right, Oba got him back, back and forth. Oba has gotten the best of Brock every single time to the point where, they just stopped letting him fight. So, in my wrestling mind, as a fan, I look at that and I'm like, is it too good to be true? But I know if I was back there and I was booking Obafemi, no. I need this dude to look like a monster. And, I mean, for fans who know, I've had a shocker with Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar, the redo, where Goldberg took out Brock in 20 seconds. And I was like, oh, all right, it's over. Sometimes WWE will give you that push. I think Oba is somebody who deserves it. I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about the 6-man ladder match randomly thrown together. Just a gift. How many times have you seen somebody do an open challenge with a title that they had and make it a dangerous match? Penta straight up went on Raw and was like, yeah, I'm putting the title on the line in a ladder match against 5 other dudes. Well, 5 because Rey Mysterio added himself to it. That has the potential to steal the show. WrestleMania 17, one of the biggest promoted WrestleManias, goes down as maybe the greatest of all time. Everyone knows that Rock versus Austin is the main event, but don't act like TLC didn't steal that show. This has the potential to steal the show. Pay attention. 6 people with a ladder, things are going to get hectic.
I totally agree on both of those points. It's going to be truly a tremendous WrestleMania. But let's talk about TJ Jefferson and No Contest Wrestling. How special is it working with TJ and covering a passion of yours on the WWE?
Man, it is it's crazy. I had always thought about doing a wrestling pod. I was just gonna start a Twitch and just pull out the black book, see who was in town, have them come over and interview, that type style, and then every other night just ramble about my reaction to the show. But I got a call one day from Rich Eisen, and Rich Eisen, he expressed that he had a podcast network and he wanted a wrestling show. And TJ Jefferson was his guy when it came to wrestling. So TJ was already on board. And when it came time to ask TJ, who do you see as a co-host with you? Some people threw in ideas of having an actual wrestler, which helps, to have somebody, a little bit more on the inside of baseball, if you will. But TJ was like, no, we need O'Shea. And I don't know. It's probably because I'm so annoyingly aggressive about my wrestling takes on Twitter. But he was like, if there's somebody we need that dude. And so, that's why I'm always grateful to my tag team partner for even mentioning me. And yeah, I made the decision because, the actors had just went on strike a couple months prior. It had ended before I made the decision to this. But the strike scared me because at any time, 7 months of a drought can just happen again for me. When your income is stopping for 7 months and you got a kid and you got bills, it gets real scary around here. I know everybody thinks that Hollywood, everybody's just swimming in the duck, but it gets wild out here, dude. So I thought, what can I have to fall back on? And so I looked at what the things that I was passionate about that wouldn't seem like work if I did it. And I'm like, I'm on Twitter every day talking for free. I might as well find a way to get paid off of it.
Yeah.
Just so happened that Rich Eisen called, and then me and TJ got together in the Rich Eisen show green room. We started talking about like what were ideas for the show, and he gave me a list of I think 20 or 30 names, and no contest stood out. It just the double entendre of no one can touch us, and also it being used in ring competition. And from there we just try to just snowball it into something. And I knew that coming out the gate we needed to hit the world with a haymaker. And so I thought, all right, what could make the biggest splash? So I called CM Punk, and he did our premiere episode.
That's not a bad first guest.
No, not at all, bro. It got us to number 4 on podcasts in the world. So we were like, oh no, dude, we came out. First dunk of our career is a between the legs from the 3-point line. We can't top that. What do we do for next week? And luckily, we've developed a core fan base that's growing even more. People love our personalities. Our friendship has grown because of the show. We talk almost every day. That's my guy. That's my tag team partner. He keeps telling me that I'm a super kick him through a barbershop window one day. But he can't be so negative. He's so toxic, dude.
Obviously, you two will be on ESPN2 this Thursday and Friday leading into WrestleMania weekend. Can't wait to watch. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the podcast. And again, thanks for joining up. Before we let you go, this is my favorite part of any interview I do. It's the Fuse Fast 5. It's 5 quick questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The first 2 are going to be twofold. Your worst ever wrestling take and your best ever wrestling take.
Oh, my worst? Oh, my goodness.
Is there one you wish you could have back? If there was a dump button with takes that people might have attributed to you or something, what's one that you might wish you could have back?
Oh, man.
Now, you said you're known for your hot take earlier, so I have to mention that.
Listen, I think my best take and my worst take are the same.
Oh, wow.
Because, I think they're the same thing because I'll say this. Roman Reigns should have retained at WrestleMania 40. I know it would have, the whole world would have gone on fire and yada, yada, yada. But, he was so close to Hogan's record. And I really wanted Roman to get Hogan's record. But I just felt like there wasn't a G.I. Joe needs Cobra. Okay? And after Cobra gone, our G.I. Joe didn't have I felt like Cody didn't have anybody as menacing or as where was his Kang dynasty after Thanos? it's just it's so it kind of flickered down a little bit. And we found light in finding John Cena and on his last run, and everything worked out the way that it was supposed to. And here we are again. Now we got Randy, and but man, I just felt like he was so close to Roman's record, Hogan's record, and if he would have retained to get the record, I think he would have had to make it to Survivor Series. And Survivor Series is the pay-per-view that Vince stole from Dusty, if you look that up. And so it was like War Games, his father's match. I was like, if we could find a way for him to win there, it means something more, but it's Mania. How you not going to have him win at the 40th anniversary of Mania? Like, come on. And possibly the last outdoor East Coast Mania ever. Because, my God, my hands were bricks trying to clap in Philadelphia. Never again. Never again.
One superstar you've never gotten a chance to interview that you would love to.
I got two. I need Austin. I need Rock. I need Austin. I need Rock. And a special one that, because this dude was always a inspiration for me, because I just want to have a conversation with him as like son of a legend to another son of a legend. But I would absolutely love to have a legacy conversation with Shane McMahon. Man,
that would be tremendous. That would be a really good conversation. Number 3, we were talking before. You have a movie coming out this summer. What can fans expect from that movie?
It's a wild one. It's a wild one. It's a road trip comedy. Me and Dave Franco, who's one of my best friends that I've made in my career. Mason Thames, who is Hiccup in How to Train a Dragon, and people that know the name off the top of their heads. He's awesome. Just a lovable kid, dude. And I'm going to be watching his career the entire time. It's like my little brother. And we're in a road trip comedy where Mason is driving me and Dave up the wall. It is The Idiots now. It was formerly known as, let's just say, Shatheeds. It was known as Shatheeds prior, but we can't sell that. So we changed it to The Idiots. But we're all Shatheeds at heart. And it's a movie that puts me in a position I don't think I've ever been, as far as got to be, the straight man, like I'm not there to be the funny guy. And that's hard for me sometimes because I like being funny. I like Long Shot was one of my favorite movies I ever done because Seth Rogen told me, just go, just be you. But I'm also going into an emotional space that I've never done as an actor on screen before in that. And did pretty well at Sundance, and hopefully it does pretty well in theaters because your boy's a producer on it. And man, it'll be out this summer. Very excited. Peter Dinklage is also in the film, and Bran Stark is a snake.
Wow, that's awesome. I can't wait. I will definitely be in the theater for that one.
Thank you, man.
Number 4, best piece of advice your dad ever gave you.
Never do a movie you wouldn't go see yourself. Yeah. And also, I can't remember how he phrased it, but basically he's always taught me the lesson of don't follow what other people think is cool just because they think it's cool. Find what you like and make people love it. And I think that has always been in my head. It keeps me. It's why I'm still I'm 35, still got my games, still got anime, still got wrestling. And now I'm in a position working with ESPN and No Contest Wrestling to make people see something that I like and how cool it really is with the WWE and professional wrestling as a whole. So the lesson has followed me.
And then the last one for you: if you could host a radio show, With anyone in your phone contacts, who are you choosing and why?
Ooh, T-Pain. 100%. Oh
That's
my
a mic
goodness.
drop. That's a mic drop.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and T-Pain was like oh man, it would be utter nonsense.
That would be. That would be. But you would have a listener on me for that one, okay?
Absolutely, man. Thank
Well,
you.
O'Shea, this has been so much fun. Obviously, we'll be watching No Contest Wrestling on ESPN2 next Thursday and Friday, and always listening on the ESPN app. Appreciate the time. This is a crazy time of year for you. Enjoy WrestleMania weekend. I know I will. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, man. The One Piece is real. Remember that.